Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Texan Entertainment News, your weekly recap of news in the entertainment world. I'm your host, Justin Pack. This week we've got news on the weekend box office winners and losers, and of course, superhero movie news, because a new superhero movie comes out every month, it seems. Also, we have some info on the goings-on in the TV and theater world, as well as the hubbub in the video game industry, and finally, it wouldn't be entertainment without some celebrity gossip. Let's start with movie news. This week's box office totals are in, and the tiny Ant-Man is the big winner, pulling in $24.8 million, narrowly beating out the Adam Sandler movie Pixels, which only got $24 million. That 0.8 makes a difference. Even though it lost that #1 spot, the Adam Sandler film still pulled in a lot of people, despite the fact that Pixels almost universally got panned by critics, only getting a 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. DreamWorks' Minions came in at third because minions are everywhere and you cannot escape. And the Judd Apatow comedy movie Trainwreck came in fourth. A surprise on this list was the rated R boxing film Southpaw, coming in at 5. This film starred Jake Gyllenhaal, and it didn't have the same level of media blitz as the other films on this list, so it was nice to see it generate some revenue, even without the Hollywood hype machine behind it. In the 6th place was Paper Towns, a film adaptation of the young adult novel of the same name. An interesting fact, according to exit polls, 76% of this film's audience was female and under the age of 25. So, teen girl movie? The list was rounded out by the seemingly ever-present Inside Out and Jurassic World. Seriously, these movies don't seem to be going anywhere. They won't leave. Next up in superhero movie news, Hugh Jackman announced on Twitter that he will be portraying the X-Men Wolverine one last time. He took to Twitter announcing, "My last time putting on the claws, what do you want to see happen? 50 words or less, I'll read as many as I can." This tweet was also accompanied with a promotional photo of Jackman as Wolverine. Jackman has portrayed the metal-clawed mutant seven different times in films since his first appearance as the character in the first X-Men movie back in 2000. That's 15 years ago. So yeah, there might be a little rust on those claws. Well, in more X-Men news, apparently Channing Tatum may be out of the running to play the lead in the X-Men Gambit movie. This film was centering around the kinetically charged, Cajun card-throwing mutant gambler ladies man. Yes, I know that's a lot of adjectives for one character. And is slated for October 2016 release. So if the deal with Tatum falls through, the studio is going to have to work super fast to go ahead and replace that leading man. I, for one, was not super thrilled about Magic Mike playing my favorite childhood X-Man, so I'll be watching this closely to see what happens with the casting. Rest assured, viewing audience, I will keep you posted. So, here's a life pro tip. If you're a wanted felon, probably don't take up a career in acting. Why am I telling you this? Well, it seems that a bank-robbing fugitive has been arrested thanks to his role in a low-budget horror film. The 44-year-old suspect was playing the lead role in a movie called Marla May, which led him to be discovered by federal agents. The suspect pled guilty to robbing a bank back in 2006, then violated his parole, so a warrant was issued for his arrest. The film's producer says the actor, felon, will remain in the film and is scheduled for release next year. Hey, I guess the show must go on, even when your actor goes to jail. Speaking of the show must go on, let's talk a bit about theater and TV news. According to the Associated Press, realtors are hoping for big bucks from the sale of 2 houses from the show Breaking Bad, which is based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Of the 2 homes featured from the award-winning TV show, one is the home of the character Jesse Pinkman, who is the Methodist assistant of the lead character in the show, Walter White. It's also where they started making drugs in the first season of the show. The other home for sale is a house shown in the last episode of the show where Walter White threatens a former business partner. If you're interested in buying these homes, the first home is set for sale at $1.6 million, and the second is set for $2.65 million. So, yeah, good luck with that. If you can't afford those, don't take a page from Walter White, though, and start making drugs. That never ends well. The Discovery Family Channel will be launching a reality TV series revolving around a man named Bill Berloni. Berloni has trained animals that have appeared on stage and screen for many years, entertaining audiences all over the nation. For example, Berloni trained a Chihuahua to play Bruiser in Legally Blonde, the musical, and a dog to play Sandy in the 1977 production of Annie. Overall, he's rescued 150 dogs since 1977, so that's right, many of the animals he has trained actually came from shelters. After their acting careers, Berloni said let the animals retire and live on his farm for the rest of their days. He currently has 30 dogs, a cat, some farm animals, and a singing and swearing macaw parrot. Go figure. The reality show From Wags to Riches, oh those puns, Bill Berloni, debuts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August 6th. So sit back, grab some popcorn, sit, shake, speak, good boy. So now moving on to some more theater news. It appears the Book of Mormon, the stage musical lampooning the Mormon faith, created by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the producers of South Park, is showing in, of all places, Salt Lake City, Utah. The play started on Broadway and has been making its rounds around the U.S. and has finally ended up in Utah. The musical is a satirical show that mocks the teachings and practices of Mormonism and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Despite the crude humor, the first showing in Salt Lake City on Tuesday received a standing ovation after its finale. The audience was filled with non-Mormons, ex-Mormons, regular Mormons, and Mormon students. Who would have thunk it? I guess those South Park guys just get a jail-free card when it comes to controversy. Okay, moving on to video game news. A confirmation for the next Nintendo video game console may have been leaked by the publisher Square Enix. In an announcement for an upcoming game, Dragon Quest XI, they said that they will be releasing the game on the PlayStation 4, Nintendo 3DS handheld, as well as the yet-to-be-announced next Nintendo console, codenamed the Nintendo NX. Nintendo has stated they will not be talking about the NX until E3 2016. Dragon Quest XI is set to be released in late 2016, so it's reasonable to think that Square Enix may already have its hands on some prototype hardware for the Nintendo NX, if they actually plan to hit that release date. Kind of interesting stuff. So, I wonder what kind of funky gimmick the next Nintendo console will have. I mean, motion controls and touchscreens, what's next? Giant Mario gloves you have to wear to play the game? All the speculation sends my mind to racing. A beta demo for Street Fighter V was released to the public on Thursday, but before the day was even up, the game had seemingly self-destructed. The servers used to handle the launch were so unresponsive, players weren't even able to open the game. Capcom sent out an apology stating that the servers were undergoing maintenance to correct the problem. This is why you don't hire a giant green guy that generates electricity to be your data center engineer. That is a Street Fighter joke, for those who don't play Street Fighter. So after several days of testing and failing, Capcom just decided to pull the project altogether. And later they announced, while the purpose of a beta is to work out these types of issues, it was very clear that the issues we faced were more severe than we were prepared for. After 3 days of testing, while we were making progress and collecting valuable data, we felt the majority of players were not having a good experience. And the best course of action would be to take the servers offline for extended maintenance. We'll be postponing our first beta until we believe the experience is going to be a positive one for players. There should be several more beta tests before the game launches next year. Hopefully those don't also go Sonic Boom. That's another terrible Street Fighter joke. Okay, so wrapping up gaming news, gamers in China have reason to rejoice because China has finally lifted its ban on video game consoles. The ban went in place back in 2000 as part of the Chinese government's media censorship policies. The Chinese government said this ban was put in place to shield its youth from the corrupting influence of video games. China sounds a lot like my grandparents. There was a pilot program that was started in 2014 to start selling these consoles, and it was deemed a success by the Chinese Department of Culture. So they're allowing them to start manufacturing and selling consoles within the country. Previously, Chinese console gamers had to turn to the black market or go to the pseudo-legal gray market based in the Shanghai Free Trade Zone to get their hands on video game consoles. The PC market in China has been strong for many years, so it'll be interesting to see if the opening availability of consoles will be able to wrestle away any of that market share from the PC world. But hey, when you have 20% of the world's population in your country, surely some of those people would like to buy a PS4. Well, that about sums up video games. Do you hear that? That low rumble in the distance? I think it's Keanu with celebrity news. Keanu, take it away.
Thanks, Justin. From Texas to Hollywood, I'm your hookup to the celebrity buzz. Hello, everybody. I'm Keanu Perez. It's been a hard week this week with the death of Bobby Christina Brown. Reported from the Associated Press, Brown passed away Sunday, July 26, with her autopsy finding no obvious cause of death. Brown, having been in recovery for the past 6 months after being found face down in a bathtub, has authorities at work trying to discover cause of her death. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office said Monday after Brown's autopsy that it will be several weeks before the cause of death for the 22-year-old Brown will be ruled. The next step is lab tests and research on Brown's hospital records. Nearly 6 months in recovery, experts say cause of death will be difficult. Any drugs Brown might have taken would have passed through her bloodstream long ago, and recovering any physical evidence overlooked at Brown's home from January 31st may be impossible. Condolences to Brown's family and friends. In the rap game, rapper feud between Meek Mill and Drake has been fueled. With the release of Drake's new song, Charged Up, tension has risen on Twitter and on Nicki Minaj's tour, Minaj being Mill's girlfriend. Drake in his new song, This Is Mill, who said at Nicki's concert in Brooklyn, quote, "I was doing my album and I asked Drake to give me a verse for my album, but Drake gave me a verse that he didn't write that another person wrote. Mill has claimed that Drake did not write his verse in Mill's new song, Rico. Mill told Minaj's crowd, quote, "I heard that song was very soft, baby lotion soft." Referring to Drake's song, Mill continued with, quote, "Biggie and Tupac died to be the greatest. If you're going to be the greatest, just make sure you're on your own pen and game. Keep it all the way 100. The name is Keanu. Number one in the name. Like that card game. You know, like that card game Uno? Moving on to the Twitter sphere. I missed y'all last week, and I can't go without discussing the latest Twitter feud, hotter than Mill and Drake. Pop star Bad Blood Taylor Swift might be making some bad blood after tweeting at Feeling Myself Queen of Rap Nicki Minaj. Minaj, not a nominee for Video of the Year for MTV Video Music Awards, tweeted, quote, "Hey guys at MTV, thank you for my nomination. Did Feeling Myself miss the deadline or question mark?" Minaj was nominated for 3 other awards categories, 2 for Anaconda. Minaj continued on Twitter with, quote, "If I was a different kind of artist, Anaconda would be nominated for Best Choreography and Vid of the Year as well." In another tweet, Minaj said, quote, "When the other girls drop a video that breaks records and impacts culture, they get that nomination. Insert soft smiley emojis." Still tweeting for Anaconda and Feeling Myself not nominated for the Video of the Year, Minaj tweeted, "If your video celebrates women with very slim bodies, you will be nominated for Vid of the Year." This tweet sparked for Swift as she tweeted, quote, at Nicki Minaj, "I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your slot, ... A confused Minaj tweeted, quote, "Huh? You must not be reading my tweets. Didn't say a word about you. I love you just as much, but you shouldn't speak on this." After a Twitter war of Bad Blood Twitterers and loyal Anacondians, Swift tweet quoted, "I thought I was being called out. I missed the point. I misunderstood, then misspoke. I'm sorry, Nicki," at Nicki Minaj. Nicki accepted the apology, even adding some kissing face emojis, and tweeted back, "I've always loved her. Everyone makes mistakes. She's gained so much more respect from me. Let's move on." During this whole catfight, or should I say GOAT versus Anaconda, get it because Nicki's song and that funny GOAT Taylor Swift videos on YouTube? Anyway, rumor Swift friend enemy Katy Perry, who is said to be who Swift is referring to in her song Bad Blood, tweeted, quote, "Finding it ironic to parade the pit women against other women argument about as one unmeasurable capitalizes on the takedown of a woman. Hard to understand for me, but Perry obviously is referring to Minaj's and Swift's Twitter chant." That's all I have for you this week. That's a wrap. Back to you, Justin.
Well, that about sums it up for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week. Bye.